All right, folks. What in the world, man? Guys, I don't know what to explain. I'm having so many problems with the internet today, and I'm very sorry. But the show must go on. Good grief, at least I'm back. Who in the hell gave me one like? I don't deserve a like. Not on this video. I'm trying my best, guys. I'm not quitting on y'all. 16 minutes I've been online? What? Okay, I just came online. Guys, let's look at the camera. See if the camera is working. This is wicked. Wicked. Alright. We got a hell of a tournament in this one, though. Look who's in it. John Cena. Y'all know who he is. He does the Donald Trump sign. Alright. We've got big news out of the hurricanes on the Pacific West. Tropical storm forms, will be a hurricane, and then we have Norman Bates is what I'm going to call it. Hurricane Norman Bates. It's got a 60% chance behind that one. And guess where it's heading, folks? You guessed it, Hawaii. Wow. That's all I can say. Without further ado, this is called Sea of Sorrow. And we're going to let him explain that one. Okay? Enjoy.
Alright guys, here we go. August 26, 2018, 2:13 p.m. We officially have Tropical Storm Miriam. I believe that is the correct pronunciation. And shout out to Megan Poff down below.
Oh yeah, by the way, I created Vampiro. The only way I can say this is I did the best I could. If I didn't do a good job, I tried. I put all his tattoos on there back in the 90s. I made the 1990s Vampiro. I don't like the new one they got out there now, but it's not even on the WWE game. I've created all the wrestlers. It's not even on the WWE game. So enjoy. And only 4 left on my creatings, and then we start tournaments with the regulars. All right, let's see how it goes. Enjoy.
On the comment section, looking up the definition. This name, when you look it up, like the baby name websites and stuff like that, it actually means sea of bitterness, or it could mean sea of sorrow. So it actually has the word sea involved with it. I'm sure that could be possibly why they chose this name to be one of the names for the Pacific season. But you can see here, guys, we are at tropical storm levels right now. It's saying 40 knots, 45 miles per hour. It's actually upwards of 50 miles an hour now. They're going to update this shortly. We still have the disturbance at 60% over 48 hours, but when you look at the 5-day, it's clear that this will more than likely become our next hurricane, which would be Hurricane Norman. First it will be Tropical Storm Norman, and then it would become Hurricane Norman. But we already have Tropical Storm Miriam, which I figured was going to become a tropical storm within the next couple hours from uploading my last video. They're claiming this may be a hurricane as early as tomorrow night, 5 p.m. I'm going to say a little sooner than that based on the I guess you can call it rapid intensification of this storm already. We have some pretty cool visuals to look at, courtesy of Norway Tracking down below in the comments section. He's a big help on this channel as well. Babe, did you put a gummy bear in my tea? Oh my god, there's a gummy bear in my tea. Awesome. Anyway, guys, check this out. We got satellite views of Miriam right now. You can see it beginning to get its spin counterclockwise as the sun rolls over top of it. That's what that line is you're seeing going across. Here is our visible loop, a little bit of a closer view, a little faster. You can see those storms. When you see those big puffs, those are clouds exploding off the top of this storm, reaching up higher and higher into the sky. And that's what happens, guys. These storms cling together. We get our depressions, then we get our tropical storms, and then we get to Category 1, which would be the next step for Miriam. Here's an infrared satellite loop, also courtesy of Norway Tracking. Thank you, buddy. And you can tell this storm is nothing to mess with. As far as the track, that's the Atlantic. Let's take a look really quick at the track. All right, so we're going to say this. It wants to move north sooner than expected. That's what we want too. The farther north this thing goes, and the sooner it happens, the less threat we have of this being another situation that Hawaii would have to deal with. But according to of these storms, Miriam and Norman, if Norman forms, which they more than likely will, they both want to go in that western direction with that high pressure still in the Pacific Ocean, forcing these storms down until there's some sort of release, and then they want to move north naturally, just like in the Atlantic Ocean. And once again, guys, keep an eye on this area right off the coast of the west coast of Africa, by the Cape Verde Islands. It could be just a matter of time before we see an invest named here. So we really want to watch this area. It's been a long time since I've seen a string of storms stick out this far without being interrupted by shear winds or by sandstorms. So, all right, guys, that was the quick update. Just letting you guys know, we now have our next named storm for the Pacific Ocean, Tropical Storm Miriam. Let's see what happens, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
And Norman Bates is forming out there, too. I think I did pretty good on Vampiro, believe it or not. Hopefully he'll make it a long way so we can see Vampiro versus Sting again. Back in the day, that was a good match. That was the news on that. 2 tropical storms forming in the West Coast. Another thing we're going to talk about. Ooh. Okay. We got news on how cold it's going to get this year, which I already told you it's going to be a freezer. Yeah, we're going to go to that. Let's go. MBGC combo.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Hopefully you guys are all having a wonderful day. Today's upload is going to be my video on who will see the coldest fall by region. If you recall, I did a video on who will see the snowiest fall by region, so I decided to make a same video on who will see the coldest fall by region. So hopefully you will enjoy. Thanks for clicking on this video. However, before we get further into this video, I would like you guys to consider to subscribe. You may be wondering, why am I asking you guys to subscribe if you haven't even watched the video, or you're new to my channel? Well, you could watch the whole video, check out my other videos on this channel, and then you could decide whether or not to subscribe to my YouTube channel, whether you like it or not, and you could subscribe. If you're a old returning member and you still haven't subscribed, then you could consider subscribing, because it really helps my channel out a lot, so thank you for doing that. Now, my 4 factors I will be going to this video are the ENSO outlook, or the ENSO outlook, my who will see the coldest fall this year video, which I made a couple of weeks ago, analogs, and NOAA's seasonal outlook. So, the ENSO neutral is favored through July through September 2018, with an El Nino favored thereafter. Chances for an El Nino are near 70% during Northern Hemisphere winter 2018-2019. So the last sentence we don't really care about, but the most important part is favored through July through September, with an El Nino favored thereafter. So basically inferring based off this thing that the whole months of fall are going to be an El Nino based pattern. So you can see right here, November, December, September, October, November, December, all those are at least 60% or above chance of seeing an El Nino. So will it occur 100%? No, and I'll explain why there may be something else that may occur other than an El Nino. So a typical El Nino pattern, if you're wondering, you don't even know what it is, looks something like this: warm and dry across the north and Midwest, wet and cool across the south, and typically this would mean less snow, or this would mean less snow for the north and more snow for the south, but since this is a cold, we'll see the coldest fall, this would is talking about the cold weather, not about the snow. So obviously it would be warmer, so that means less cold conditions across the north and more cold conditions across the south. But there is a catch to this. As you can see, El Nino is measured based off sea surface temperatures, if you didn't know, and whether they are below average, which is a La Nina, or above average, which is an El Nino, is, basically what determines what the pattern will be.
To most, he's Phil Mickelson, pro golfer. To me, he's, well, Dad. So when his joint pain from psoriasis
for the United States winter, it's not everything, doesn't determine everything, but it does determine a large portion of the winter pattern that will be occurring. And as you can see on this map, the Pacific Ocean extends from Oceania, Australia, all the way to South America. And on this map, the warm waters, or the El Nino, is eastern based. That's why it's called an eastern based El Nino. And this is what typically is inferred. This is what usually happens with an eastern-based El Nino, this pattern. However, with an El Nino Modoka El Nino, which I'll explain in a minute why I may be forming this year, is something more like this. You can see the temperatures are warmer in the middle, cooler on the sides, and it looks just different from a regular eastern-based El Nino. This one is called a central-based El Nino because the warm waters or above-average waters are more in the center. So the reason why I think an El Nino Modoka may be forming is you can see there are plenty of factors or plenty of indications that one may be forming. Not only does this look more like an El Nino Modoka because there's not really a defined El Nino Eastern based, but I'm not saying that there's an El Nino Modoka defined, but it just looks more like an El Nino Modoka. And if we look at some other areas like south of Greenland and the East Coast, they match perfectly with an El Nino Modoka. If you look at, say, the Arctic Ocean right here, northwestern Canada, parts of northwestern Canada to the northeast of Alaska, you can see below average during an El Nino Modoka, and right now we have below average conditions. So there are some similarities, some differences, but we can't rule that out. This does happen quite often with an El Nino, so not all El Ninos are the same. The closest one I think that occurred, or the previous one that occurred, was 2009, 2010, which would make sense that now, anytime now, another one could occur in another El Nino Modoka. So you may be wondering, well, what does that mean? I mean, what's going to be the difference even if an El Nino Modoka forms? So there is no really El Nino Modoka pattern that I could find online, so I decided to make a composite anomaly and about temperatures. So these are air temperatures at the surface, and these averages are based off 1981 years to 2010, and those are the years that these averages are based off. And you can see that during a typical El Nino Modoka, which is right here on this side, above average for a lot of the country and below average towards the southern, southeastern part of the country. With an El Nino, again, even more above average than an El Nino Modoka, and a southern part of the United States where it's just, slightly around average, maybe a little bit above, maybe a little bit below. So generally with an El Nino Modoka, we can expect some cooler conditions, but still generally warm. So that could still make the difference between a below average fall in terms of temperatures or an above average fall in terms of Another thing that may occur with an El Nino Modoka happening is wetter than normal conditions across the east and drier than normal conditions across the west. And as you can see, this is during an El Nino Modoka, which is also known as the Central Pacific El Nino. And you may be wondering, well, this is who'll see the coldest fall by region, not snowiest. So why does rainfall anomalies, why do they even matter in terms of temperatures? Well, sometimes when areas that have more wetter areas that are just more have more rain, they sometimes tend to be colder or have cooler temperatures. And where areas where there are where there is less rain and there's more of a drought condition going on, that could lead to more of a drier period, and obviously drier, but warmer period that again would affect the fall temperatures. So that is something to keep in the back of your mind. The last factor I'd like to look at are NOAA's seasonal outlooks, and these are 3-month outlook temperature probability. And this first one right here is made August 16th. Actually, both of them are made August 16th, 2018. But this one is valid for September, October, November, while this one's valid for October, November, December. So you can see matching, these maps look fairly similar to these things right here. There will be quite a bit of above average above average temperatures areas that will see above average temperatures. So I do think this fall will be fairly warm, but again, this isn't on will this fall be warm or cold. This is more on a video on who will see the coldest fall. So those states, which I'll show you in a minute, necessarily will not see a cold fall. They'll just see the coldest fall out of their region. So I'll show you in a minute what I mean by that. So you can see September, October, November, the coolest area that is closest to below average, it's not even, but the closest one is the southeast, parts of Alabama, Georgia, parts of South Carolina, parts of Tennessee, and Florida. And the rest of the country is above average. I would probably be not so conservative on this as Noah is. I'd probably extend this white or maybe even blue to an area like this. And then for this, again, they expanded it for October, November, December, because that's going to be the ongoing pattern that the warmer conditions will be subsiding. But I would extend this to summer around right here, the cooler than average conditions. But as of now, this is what Noah is saying. So you can see they clearly expanded this from just the parts of the states of the southeast to basically the whole southeast and including parts of the mid-Atlantic, but not very much at all. So generally this fall does seem to be fairly warm, but it is time to show you my final who will see the coldest fall by region temperature outlook this fall 2018.
2018 MLS Heineken Rivalry Week, tonight on FS1.
Drum roll, please. And this is how I think it will look like. So, there's a lot of bare states on this map, again, because this is just a who will see the coldest fall by region. So there's only going to be one state that wins per region. So let's start off way in the west. So out of states of Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming, I think Wyoming will have the coldest temperatures, or the coldest out of all of them, due to the fact that it will be closest to the southeast out of all of these states, and the south is where the below average conditions could be, and sometimes will be extending out further on a couple of occasions, which may include Wyoming. Out of these states, California, Nevada, Arizona, Utah, Colorado, and New Mexico, I do think Mexico has the best chance due to the fact that it's further to the south, and with an El Nino, whether an El Nino or an El Nino Madoka Forbes, there are a fairly good chance that the southern part of the United States will see below average temperatures this year. And it's also close to the southeast, so that plays a pretty big role also. Now let's move on to the south, which is just Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Texas. I'm sorry, I have a stuffy nose, so that makes it weird. But out of all of these states, I do think that Louisiana will have the coldest, temperatures out of all these four states, due to the fact that it is close to the southeast, and that's where these blob or this mass of cooler than average temperatures will be developing throughout fall and winter time. So I do think they'll be the most affected by it. Now let's move on to the southeast, which I do think out of the states of Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Tennessee, and Florida. Out of these states, I do think it will be Florida, due to the fact that it will be producing, or it will be, there will, again, mass of cooler air will be most likely, as even shown by this, closer to Florida, and even as shown by our anomalies, you can see Florida may be actually below average, one of the only states that is below average for this fall, and that's why I have fairly high confidence. It's probably my most confident state, and that I have right now will be the coldest state in terms of temperatures. Now let's move on to the northeast. As you can see, the northeast states which I included were Virginia, Kentucky, West Virginia, DC, Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, Connecticut, New York, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. All of those states, I do think, out of all those states, I do think Virginia will be the coldest because due to the fact it is closer to it's really close to the shore, obviously. A lot of states are, coastal states, but it is very close to the southeast compared to, say, Maine, which may be quite a bit above average in terms of temperatures. So now we move on to the Midwest, which I have Ohio, Illinois, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Indiana. And I do think Indiana will be has the highest chance of seeing below average temperatures due to the fact it is closest to the southeast, and I do think they have a pretty good chance of seeing quite a bit of lake effect snow this year going downwind, and that could again snow all these cools the temperature down once it falls. And now the last region I have is Minnesota, Iowa, Missouri, Kansas, Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota. Out of all these states, I think Missouri will have the coldest fall due to the fact that it is closer to the southeast, it is furthest to the south, and that with an El Nino or El Nino Madokai, that is most likely what's going to happen. The southern states are going to more likely see below average conditions rather than the more northern counterparts. So that is basically it for today's video, guys. Please consider subscribing to my channel. Please consider liking the video. And hopefully you guys are all enjoyed. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.
That kid just predicted just like I predicted New Year's Eve. It's funny that I said the same thing. I think his video come out today. His video come out today. So not bad. Not bad, kid. Gotta say, you know what you're doing. Like I said, southeast. Get ready for a freezer. California, Las Vegas. He didn't say this. California, Las Vegas, Arizona, Texas. Not Texas. Texas is gonna be cold. Phoenix, Las Vegas, California, Seattle, Utah, you're going to be warm. Whoever thunk that one, right? Because that warm y'all been getting over there with the fires and everything. Be ready for that. Impeachment, right? Right. Okay. That's just a complete lie. Be honest with you, I would love to see that, but I wouldn't like to see Obama come back. I mean, put Ben Carson in there, or I don't know, Ted Cruz, somebody that cares about America, and that would probably be a lot better than who we got in there now. What's the news that I had? I had some more news. Thanks for coming back, guys. I'm sorry I'm having internet problems, but Vampiro wins. Wow. All right. Awesome. One of my creators win. I enjoy creating the games. Tony Pizza Guy, thank you for recognizing us on the game designs that we do. We don't get a lot of recognition, so thank you. Seriously. I subscribe to your channel, by the way. And people like you deserve more. That live shooting, still the same. I still think the same thing. You see what I put on the thumbnail? That is your killer of all shootings. Right down the line. Now, I don't know what happened with the other shootings up north back in the day, but I do know what happened since Dylan Roofer. Okay? It's been going on since Dylan Roofer. Okay? That's all I can tell you. Golly, Melody Clark, 114 videos she has shared. Thank you. You're still in the lead. Where the close second is Sabrina Wilson. By the way, while we were doing that video, I was getting shaken. I felt a shake here in Alabama. And I have not heard anything on the news on California. Maybe that's not true. Report 323. Planet X, aka Wormwood. System gravity. Why has the Earth not been destroyed? God? You tell me. I think it's God. You better do what you're supposed to do or else. And I think that's what's happening right now. All right, let's start off. John Cena versus The Dream. And no, I'm not talking about Dusty Rhodes, The Dream. I'm talking about Velveteen Dream that may be called up. He's got pants on saying that he wants to be called up. I had to create him. He was not on the game. To all the gay people, this is your gay guy now. I don't have no problems with gay, bi, straight, whatever that floats your boat. Because my uncle was gay before he passed away. So I don't judge no one. I think we only have one judge, and that's the man upstairs. And that's about it. Because he's the one that created Earth, right? Flat round, whatever you want to call it, okay? I call it the way I think. And by the way, I want to touch up on some WWE. Goldberg was hacked. If you have not heard yet and you've been under a rock, Goldberg has, well, the Secret Service came to him, called him and everything, said, did you threaten? And Goldberg's like, no, I've been trying to call y'all. Well, guess what, folks? Somebody hacked into his Twitter account and Facebook and everything else, folks. When they find out who did it, I want you to know, and if you're watching, if you did it, just like they've been doing, just like they did in the Madden shooting, okay? I'm going to call it the drone shooting in Jacksonville this time. 2 shootings from the drones, which it wasn't any shooting, it was a drone hitting you upside the head. But without further ado, let's go to the next news. What is this other here? What is this? Attempted murder. Okay, we already talked about that one. Why is it still here? Okay. Okay, this is interesting. And I wanted to put this out. This is coming out of Birmingham, Alabama. You may not heard this one. The N-word. If you've not heard this one yet, this is interesting. That's Art Franklin from WBRC 6 from Birmingham. Scam warning. Alabama widow says employment scammer called her the N-word. By the way, if you did not know, we got Amazon hiring over here in Bessemer, Alabama, about a county away from me. I'm south of Jefferson County. It's actually Jefferson County. Bessemer is a city. But I just subscribed to this guy, and it makes sense. Birmingham, Alabama. Woman wants other to beware of an employment scam. This could happen to y'all, folks. We don't know if it's happened in other cities or states, but enjoy this. You may laugh because this is a black guy that's doing this. Okay? What's his name? Okay. American doing this. And it's funny because he's making fun of the scam and he puts a little bit of funny in it. So y'all gonna laugh. Enjoy. But you're gonna be mad about the N-word part. Okay?
Scam. Someone posing as Amazon and inviting you to apply for a job with an Amazon fulfillment center coming to Bessemer. The Better Business Bureau fears more people may fall for it. CBS 42 News reporter Ariana Gaza live.
smart. This was a work-from-home scam, and the victim I spoke to tells me her husband recently passed away, and she's just looking for a second job to support her family. So I called that same phone number that the victim called and had an interesting experience, to say the least. Belinda Jackson of Birmingham found the phone number through a website claiming to help people get jobs with Amazon. She says the scammer virtually hijacked her computer and took a look at her credit card information. When I called that number and said I was looking for a job, the person who answered wouldn't tell me what branch of Amazon he works for, and when I asked for the corporate Amazon number, he gave me an 11-digit number for a men seeking women chat line. When the victim I spoke to tried to kick the scammer off of her computer, she said,
I hope you get caught. I really do, and I hope that you have a heart for other people. We are human, and just because I'm black, it shouldn't make a fact for you to call me out my name.
And she reported the incident to the Better Business Bureau. The BBB reached out to Amazon and learned that it doesn't seem like there are currently any Amazon jobs posted for our area just yet. But the place to go for those applications once those jobs are available is amazon.force.com.
Well, why get scanned that I know where to get date rape jokes?
You got N-word in your eye. Why are your eyes saying what N-word?
Clan eyes.
You've got clan eyes.
You ever take an eye test?
He does. Yes.
All you pick out is the K.
I can see every letter on there. He does have clan eyes. You can see him poking out behind that sheet. It's just ridiculous. I'm not even gonna...
Qui vous a envoyé ici? Faites une grave erreur. Bientôt, vous allez me demander pitié. He says you're both making a big mistake. That one day soon you'll beg for mercy. He also said...
What? Please, sister. We have to know.
What? The N-word? You tell this little mother...
She said that.
Sister, you tell this piece of S-word that I would personally F-word him up. Monsieur, ce monsieur vous envoie personnellement vous faire F. Faire F? Dis-lui que c'est un putain de nègre de con. Did he say nigger? He used the N-word again.
I thought y'all would like that. Alright. But no, I don't think it's right to say the N-word. But the black dude that made this video, which I thought that was hilarious. But whatever, floats their boat, right? Alright. And he does a lot of throwbacks of, if you want to go, it's HEZAKYA, news with the Z, and music, if you want to go to that. He's got 92,000 subscribers. He's actually good. I subscribed to him and I thought it was funny. It's funny. That's all I can say. Let's keep on. Internet's having crazy problems today, ain't it? I don't even see if you're there or not. I don't know if you're commenting down below. By the way, the comments are there. I'm just letting y'all pretty much put the gun to your head. Because I'm fed up. Whatever. We'll let y'all boys figure it out. Let's see here. What's the next one? What is the next movie? Next news. I'm going to it. Just give me a moment. Right. I told you about Martin Truex Jr. Getting a fan to beat up Kyle Busch. If you haven't seen the video, y'all need to go see it. Looks like a fan hit Kyle Busch in the back of the head on at Bristol. What's this, James? All right, enjoy.
What a day! What a day on the market. Holy hell in a handbasket, ladies and gentlemen. I had a crazy day. Had puts on Macy's, had puts on Facebook, had puts on Gold, had puts on Square. That's the only one. It hasn't reached its limit, which it will because it's climbing right up there. I had to adjust it. But what a day, baby! What a day! Just to let you know, if it weren't so volatile, I think we were having some sort of, Black Friday situation today on Wednesday. I mean, Amazon. A lot of people are saying that the big guys are unloading Amazon and Google. I forget what I read this morning. It was like at 3 in the morning. But negative $30 on Amazon. Google lost $30 today. Tesla is down $14. Netflix is down $14. Facebook is down $5. Caterpillar is down $5. Nvidia is down $4. Gold dropped $1.50, which means like $11 almost. Our Roku long, so today, I mean, we're talking about a good day for puts. All right, a good day for puts. Tencent, which is a Chinese company, they're down the tubes today. All right, so look at this. Trump orders new Hillary Clinton investigation after firing Peter Strzok. President calls for fresh probe after draining the swamp of crooked FBI agent.
Hold on. I want to see if this is working. I'm sorry. That's weird. I don't see nobody there now. Let's go to my tablet for a minute. And we're going to go to this. What's going on? What's going on? We'll have to go back to it. Be back in a minute, James. You do have some good stuff, but am I wasting my time to watching? Okay. Still there. Don't care about subscribers. I just want views. That's all. All right. Holy crow! Breaking news. This just in.
Wounding 10 before he shot.
Hold on. Breaking news. Putin warns United Kingdom, do not provoke us. Now we're getting somewhere. Take them down, Putin. Take them down. Yes. That's all I got to say. Keep on. What's the other news? That's big. So it does not show me on my camera who was watching. How about that stuff? So I'm just talking to myself if anybody's there or not. How about that one? That's great news. They're just trying to shadow ban me from seeing who's watching. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Anybody comment down below? Please tell me if you can comment down below. Let's see if I can comment down below. You know what? I'm not even going to ask y'all. I'll do it myself. You know what? Hello down there in Internet Town. Let's see if that worked. Did it come up? It popped up. It said hello. Okay. Nope, it did not say hello. How about that? I don't even know what y'all are saying. Interesting. So this is the new way I got to do it. Oh my God. Well, I can see the video. So it's there still. So that's great. I'm not getting shadow banned on that area. I can't put it on Facebook or anywhere. So that's okay. It's alright. If y'all not heard, there's next match will be Nikki Bella, John Cena's ex. How about that? Nikki, you're about to get your butt kicked. Why are they putting her against her? I just don't understand that. That just makes no sense. But oh wait, okay, whatever. Let's go back to the news because I'm just wasting time. I was just trying to find out if I was seeing my screen. Now it's showing 1 person and 3 likes. What's up with this thing today? This is weird. Crazy as all get out today, folks. Ah, crazy. Ah, Nikki, are you there? Nikki, Lindsay, are you there? Utah, are you there? Utah, echo, echo, echo. Just wondering if anybody's still there with 3 likes. Unbelievable. I got 3 likes and 1 person watching. Now 2. Great. Wow, they're really trying to stop me, aren't they? Oh well. How about that? 3 of us. 4 billion Chinese trying to stop us. All right, let's go back to the Trump orders. Yeah, we're going to go back to the Trump orders. Trump orders new Hillary Clinton investigation. If y'all not heard, they're going to put her down in the ground. Maybe she might kill herself, like I've been hearing. Yes, I've been hearing mad talk that Hillary Clinton is talking about killing herself, folks. Unbelievable. Could that be why The Simpsons said Hillary Clinton, or they just put Bill Clinton in there by himself because he's a man, because they're supposed to separate the moms and dads? But that makes no sense because the Simpsons are all together in that jail cell when they do the FEMA camp situation. So, and that looks like Guantanamo Bay. That does not look like a Walmart sale. So, that makes a lot of sense. Guantanamo Bay is being prison. All these Hawaiian people and Texas kids are being all right, let's go to the Trump orders new investigation, which this is so fake. We know what the situation's going to be on this. Clinton is going to kill herself, I guess, from the MK Ultra chip that she has in her. And that's why we've been seeing Weekend at Bernie's dance from Hillary Clinton. That is not Hillary. She's dancing like Weekend at Bernie's. So enjoy. And I may be getting shadow banned. I don't know. All I know is Lindsay, I need you to share again. I'm Lino and you're Shatara, and I'm like Thundercats. Oh, God, Joe, we've got the terrorists attacking us, and I'm trying to be, you're Lady J, and I'm what was that other guy's name? Duke. Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
I had a crazy day. I told you keep your eye on me. Puts on Facebook, had puts on gold, had puts on Square. That's the only one it hasn't reached its limit, which it will because it's climbing right up there. I had to adjust it.
Oh yeah, by the way, breaking news: Macy's, JCPenney's, Lowe's, and McDonald's, from that big hit last night with the dead body parts from the catastrophes in your food. All 4 closing, folks. How about that one, folks? Told you something crazy was happening with these companies. You know who I'm talking about. Tracy Dingler from... No, I don't know everything. I get it from an ex-CIA named Kevin Ship, and Edward Snowden from the NSA and what's his name? John Moore from the Navy. That was from the belly of the beast. That did something better than we did, okay? So, without further ado, let's get back with the Trump orders new Hillary Clinton investigation. James, thank you for helping me, and I'm helping you, partner. James Munder, subscribe to him.
But what a day, baby! What a day! Weren't so volatile. I think we were having some sort of, Black Friday situation today on Wednesday. I mean, Amazon and Google are going. A lot of people are saying that the big guys are unloading Amazon and Google. I forget what I read this morning. It was like at 3 in the morning. But negative $30 on Amazon. Google lost $30 today. Tesla is down $14. Netflix is down $14. Macy's is down $6. Facebook is down $5. Caterpillar is down $5. Nvidia is down $4. $11 almost. All right, and then I got my Roku long, so today. I mean,
so therefore, what Lisa Simpson said in the cartoon with Trump dying and everything, and she's the president. She says we're broke. Well, guess what? We're not just broke. Trump robbed us. Trump robbed us. Hold on. Wait a minute. Trump and Obama robbed us. Wait for it. Yes, you're on my list.
We're talking about a good day for puts. All right, a good day for puts. Tencent, which is a Chinese company, they're down the tubes today.
Wow.
All right, so look at this. Trump orders new Hillary Clinton investigation after firing Peter Strzok. President calls for fresh probe after draining the swamp.
No. Do you know why we're in the shit? Because Donald Trump listened to Hi, I'm a puppet from damn Jim Henson. What's your name again? George Fuckhead Soros? Damn idiot.
Crooked FBI agent. Well, let's get into this. President Trump says the investigation into Hillary Clinton must be properly redone. He stated that a fresh investigation into the witch will be launched now that he has fired crooked former FBI agent Peter Strzok. Mr. Trump described Peter Strzok as being in charge of the crooked Hillary Clinton sham investigation, which he described as a fraud on the American. Hillary Clinton will be properly redone now that he has drained the swamp of bad players within the FBI and DOJ. Hate to break it to you, Mr. President, but there probably are still a little shitload of them in there. But we know that there are these planes that are going to Little Rock, Arkansas, loading up planefuls of documents from the headquarters there, the Clinton Foundation in Little Rock, Arkansas. The announcement from Trump comes just as Russian collusion investigators have revealed that Hillary Clinton conspired with Russia in an attempt to sway the...
By the way, this is 6-Pac as X-Pac versus Johnny Gargano. Enjoy my game design of X-Pac.
Election by framing Trump for colluding with Russia. Holy hell in a handbasket. The announcement from Trump comes just as Russian collusion investigators have revealed that
Oh no, don't the internet.
That Hillary Clinton conspired with Russia in an attempt to sway the election by framing the president for colluding with Russia. Election meddling in...
Wait a minute. And it's got Soros's face. I wasn't right, was I? I'm right again.
investigators revealed Hillary Clinton and U.S. intelligence officials worked with Russian agents, among others, to entrap Mr. President Donald Trump. House Intelligence Committee Chairman, Representative Devin Nunes, described the discovery that Russian propaganda arms colluded with the Clinton campaign and high-level DOJ and FBI officials over the course of the last couple of years as absolutely amazing. I don't even want to look at this guy's face anymore. Trump drained the swamp of
Soros' face anymore. How we get to Sesame Street?
By the way, if you haven't kind of been watching, they're kind of shifting the narrative to China. Yes, there was colluding with Russia, but I believe our big threat militarily and in space and in the economy and a lot more things, China.
Wait a minute. James. You even reported October the 1st, 2016 that Obama was going to give the internet to ICANN, none other than the EU. And then now you're going to say that Russia colluded, or they didn't. Dude, I didn't want to call you out, but holy shit, you just fucked up. I mean, what's up with that? Sound like Hurricane, didn't it? Oh, if you don't know who the Hurricane is, that's Shane Helms from WCW.
Is way bigger than Russia. And Russia is also fighting the New World Order. So it's a very complicated mess.
Yes, it is.
BLP reports the call for a new investigation into failed presidential candidate Hillary Clinton's email servers, on which classified documents were found, came just minutes after Trump questioned whether the bogus Russian collusion investigation will be dropped. They got it all, folks. They got the servers. They got
the birds, but they got the They got the servers, they got the DOC, the DCC, the EEE, and I've got news for you. They got them when Putin gave the ball to Trump, and he never did anything about it, James. That's the thing. He's been sitting on that ball. The chip, the microchip, was inside. He said the ball was in your court. And he hasn't done nothing about it. That's why there's submarines on the West Coast about to blow up the West Coast. And this is why. If they take out Hollywood, therefore, no more movies. No more making big money for movie theaters and stuff like that. No more popcorn, no more Cokes, no more going to the movies no more. No more Netflix, no nothing. You're going to be watching reruns like, I don't know, Dynamite! You know, that car. Putin has a plan, and so does China. And they having the biggest exercise right now. And if Trump don't do this, that's like putting a gun to your head, which he did it in the 9/11 plot and everything. And this is, like I predicted, another 9/11 plot all together now. When they put these Congress people in there, they better have a camera, a live camera of them in shackles, wearing orange, and going to Guantanamo Bay. That's have visual contact of what's happening. I want instant replay, please. Okay? Just like NFL football and college football. We want to know if they're out of bounds or in bounds. Okay? That's all I got to say. This bull crap you're doing, Trump, is pissing me off. They should have been in jail right when you came in office. None of this crap. You got us all pissed off because you want us pissed off. You want us to beat up each other. You want us to shoot each other. It on piece of paper on the news, okay? And I want it on Fox, CNN, ABC, NBC. Obama controlled the internet and the phones and the news when he was there. I want you to do the same thing. If you really care about America and you care about our kids, you need to bring back the food stamps to them kids that deserves it and the people that's on disability. Seriously, you need to make this right. And shit, get the dead body parts out of McDonald's. Seriously. What is next? Kentucky Fried Chicken? Pizza Hut? They're on the same food chain. Food.
They got all the intel. They got the pictures, the videos, the recordings, everything. She's going to be going to jail. Agent Peter Strzok was just fired from the FBI. Finally, the list of bad players in the FBI and DOJ gets longer and longer. Based on the fact that Peter Strzok was in charge of the witch hunt, will it be dropped now? It's a total hoax. No collusion, no obstruction. I just fight back, he said. According to Fox, Strzok was fired over anti-Trump text messages that surfaced after a Department of Justice Inspector General's report into the handling of the Clinton investigation was released in June. Quote, FBI official Peter Strzok, who played a lead role in both the Russian meddling rod after the revelation of anti-Trump text messages, has been fired, the report said. Okay, here's a tweet from the president. Agent Peter Strzok was just fired from the FBI. Finally, the list of bad players, He was in charge of the witch hunt. Okay. This just fired Agent Strzok, formerly in charge of the crooked Hillary Clinton sham investigation. Total fraud on the American people and should be properly redone. We got Hillary Clinton looking very nervous. Very nervous. She's probably going to keel over before the trial. You know, they're going to slip her something.
Wait a minute. Wait just a second. James, you're thinking like I am in America. But you might be right, man. Now, I don't think she's going to. They're going to slip anything in her drink. I really don't. I think she's going to kill herself because she's old, decrepit. She's a has-been. Just like Kurt Busch said to Jimmy Spencer, she was a never was, and all she was is from Hillbilly, Arkansas. Hey, will you please do me a favor? What? Will you catch me that kid right there so I can have sex with it? Oh, okay. Wait a minute. I got to have sex with my daughter first. Okay, wait a minute. I want to fix this for you, okay? We got to get that bathroom. What'd you say? Bathroom. I can't hear you. I got bad ears. I meant bathroom. We got to get it on the big white truck so we can piss up the statues that we took down. Me and Obama took down. And what we need to do is we need to put it out there right in front of the church. So we put a fake preacher out there and make these atheists think that they're on our side, even though we're going to beat their ass because they're not rich. Okay, we're going to do that. I'll call Trump and tell him the plan. Oh, all right. Let's do that.
They know she'll never talk. I'm feeling she's just going to keel over and slip for the last time right before the trial. I don't want that to happen to her. I'm saying dark forces.
James. Shh. We want it to happen, I promise. We do. Just like McCain. By the way, they had sex with kids together. Did you forget about that, James? Hey, James. We do want the dark side to go down. And we're beating the hell out of them. And they don't like it. Run, we're here.
Trump has called for a fresh investigation into Hillary Clinton, which is going on right now. Interestingly, Peter Strzok was fired even though the report officially concluded that there was no bias during the investigation. Well, who wrote that report? Because that guy needs to be fired too. The IG ultimately found no evidence that the bias among the several FBI agents impacted prosecutorial decisions in the Clinton email probe. Can you excuse me? I'm going to throw up over here in the side of my room. Let me repeat that. The IG ultimately found no evidence that the bias among the...
Thank you. Let's keep on.
Several FBI agents impacted prosecutorial decisions in the Clinton email probe. Shut up. But Republicans have repeatedly raised concerns that anti-Trump bias played a role in the start of the investigation into Russian meddling and potential collusion with Trump associates in 2016. So there's that. I'd like to thank the good people at YouTube for doing what you do. There's a lot of things that are behind the scenes that I don't want to talk about. It seems like every time I get my live streaming back, they hit me with a strike, which they did, and it was a totally bogus.
James. They got me too, buddy. 3 times. Okay, 3 of my live streams. I'm on this one because I have to turn it down. Turn down the music. That's the thing. If you put the music on, or if you're singing, I don't know if you sing the national anthem, they cut stuff. And I'll explain it. We're almost at the end, James, and if we don't fight back, we're gonna let every damn politician. And by the way, that stupid shot of an angel with the guy in Detroit, Michigan, right after the Baphomet showed up from Michigan to Arkansas, that was photoshopped. Just like the rebel flag on Dylan Roofer site. Okay? Look, they're trying to stop our 10 Commandments. Instead of the Baphomet, we should. No, they wanted to fix that on the history books because Obama thought he was black and he's not. He's Muslim. Now he's saying he's Muslim. Well, make up your mind, boy. You got me, skinny boy? I hope you really do show up back to Congress and to the presidents and everything, and you're going to bomb a bunch of cities with nuclear bombs from Iran. You got balls if you're doing it, man. That's all I got to say. You got balls. Because I'm telling you right, when the purge happens, I'm not coming after an innocent person. I'm coming after you. And I'm coming after George, the Clintons, the Bushes, and if dickhead John Cena sign looking like with the upside down pizza on Fox, motherfucker. If you're involved, fat boy, that had sex with your daughter, you're next. And I'm not Goldberg saying it, and I'm not the fake Goldberg that's saying it. You take my freedom, Scotland, Italy, EU, China, Iran, Israel. Yeah, Prime Minister's not even Christian. You come at me or come at my family or our Americans that's fighting for this country, all I got to say is get ready. Get ready. Because y'all pissed us off too many times. Y'all slaved us too many times. You took our money. You took our food. You took our houses. You don't think we're going to fight back, motherfucker? You're dead wrong.
Drake, can you please review that and give me back my live streaming capabilities? I would like to have live streaming capabilities to interact with my subscribers. I think I've earned that since you've taken it away from me since the elections, which was 2 years ago. And every 3 months, they do some strike. It's a random strike. This thing was covering Nathan Stoltman, and I was just going, we need to take a look at this. Literally, they gave me a strike on that. And the only thing that strike does is take away my live streaming capabilities. So I think they feel safer for them to review. They don't feel safe with me live on the internet. I know that.
They're not good people at YouTube, okay? They have not paid me. They haven't paid big YouTube channels anymore. That's confirmed by Alex Jones. He's been funding him himself and everything. And since they did that, now worse than ever. Just wait, guys. Just wait. I have a feeling next week is going to be really bad. Well, this week coming up, and next week, and the next, and the next, and the next. It's going to get worse with earthquakes, volcanoes. We've only got 4 more volcanoes left, folks. 4. California, Delaware, volcanoes that erupt. By the time, and I told you we was going to have a cold winter, because if all the volcanoes are erupting and everything, what do we got? We're going to have ash. It's going to cover up the sun, and you're not going to see wormwood coming. You're not going to see a freaking asteroid coming. You're just going to see nothing but darkness. And it's going to look like you came from hell. And it's going to smell so bad. Some of y'all ain't even going to survive because y'all didn't get ready for this. I'm telling you right now. If this is their plan, their remote control on all the volcanoes, just found that out. They're not just using backhoes digging around the volcanoes. They are using remote control bombs to let these things go. Nations are coming from drones again. They're flying them bad boys in there with freaking bombs. So that's scary. That's scary, folks. That's why they told everybody to leave Yellowstone. So you won't see it coming. So you won't see how they're doing it. And look at X-Pac. I did the Bronco Buster. I created all that. But keep on. I thought I would give you a little bit more insight what's going on with the volcanoes and the hurricane. By the way, yeah, they weakened that rainstorm. Something big is happening over there, and y'all don't understand. Them death barges are already there. Y'all have a nice day. Listen to this.
It's been James from the Research Revolution. I'm out of here. We're all standing behind you, Mr. President.
Okay, he's done. We're done. You're not standing by nobody, man. But yeah, if you just joined us, Putin is warning the UK, which that's great. Hey, you know what? I'm tired of the warnings. Why don't we do something? While y'all waiting on 2020? I mean, shit. Barbara Walters is all right, we're going to the next one. What's the next story, folks? What is the next story? What is the next story? Not getting no messages from Facebook, no messages on Messenger. It's just over. So, and I'm just going to wait until a big earthquake or a volcano happens to get it back on. Let's see here. Where is the other news story? That was a good one, though. Okay. Really? All right. Exclusive interview with firefighter about the drones that's catching everything on fire, which they still haven't got the fires down yet. That's another story. Exclusive interview with fire captain on organs of California fires, saying that they were not deliberately. Okay, that's interesting. So, James Storm versus Kane. I told you the Storm was here. All right, James Storm versus Kane, the old Kane, which I think that's better than the new one. And I did a good job on James Storm, I think. Sorry about your damn luck. He's your next Stone Cold. And I'm glad he's coming to the WWE. If you have not heard, folks, he's at NXT. All right, and Kane, I don't know what you're thinking, dude. I don't know why you're a mayor. I really don't. You don't even. I'm sorry. Tennessee, I feel sorry for y'all. I cannot believe he's a mayor. But I hope James. Yeah. Firefighter interview about the fires, saying it was drones. Here we go. Enjoy. Told you I was right, and y'all said I was wrong. Everything I put out there is the truth, and I make the trollers and the bullies my bitch. Enjoy.
Hey folks, and welcome to another video from aplaintruth.info. We've got an incredible interview from a fire captain who also has been training fire captains, who has experience for over 30 years. This is one of at least 2 interviews we're doing with firemen, or local firemen who are going on record to tell us what happened in these fires and their versions. But anyway, let's listen to Captain John Lord. He lives in Lake County. He's going on record. He's a very brave and very smart man. And this is his...
Wow, what a name. Could this be fake? John Lord? John as in Donald John Trump? Because if you did not know, J is John. And then Lord. Let's be the judge. Okay? Let's listen.
Story about what he feels happened on the night of October 9th and what his take on from his professional of over 30 years experience happened in these fires here that started October 9th, middle of the night, 80-mile-an-hour winds, whipped up nowhere, blue lights everywhere, and caused over 2,000, 3,000 degree temperatures and took up over in this area over 4,700 homes. But there's fires going on everywhere, folks. All right, Mr. John Lord, here we go.
What a career.
We're November 1st, Santa Rosa, California. We're here with Captain John Lord. And John's going to tell us about his experiences since the fires began October 9th. John?
So, October 9th, my sister was up at my house in Lakeport, and they left around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I texted her a couple of afternoon, not realizing that anything was going on, and talked with her the next day, and she said that the winds, as when she went home, they went down through Napa Valley, the winds were like nothing that she had ever experienced. They were in a half-ton Chevy Tahoe, and it was loaded, so it had gear in the back, so it had plenty of weight to it. And she said they were being buffeted and blown all over the road. Fortunately, her boyfriend was driving, and he was absolutely shell-shocked by the time they got to Danville. He was so freaked out by the experience.
And before we get into this, so what's your experience and background?
My experience and background is that I have been in the paramedical field over 40 years. I started in the Navy in November 1974. Was in the medical field by early 1975, and got trained as a paramedic before I got out of the Navy. And I did 2.5 years with private ambulance in Concord, and then took a job with Petaluma Fire Department in November, I believe, of 1981, September, I think, 1981. So I was one of the original 6 paramedics there, hired there, and cross-trained as a firefighter. And during that time I was in there, I earned my associate degree in fire technology, a bachelor's degree in business management. I have my fire officer certification and was working on my chief officer certification when I retired. So I have about 28 years experience in the fire service.
Wonderful. And you would teach firefighters, or you have some teaching?
Yeah, I have about 25 years teaching experience working with the Paramedic Academy, the Firefighter 1 Academy, and the Fire Technology Program. And myself and a friend of mine developed a course that is now standard practice for the state, which is building construction for fire protection, and began to roll that out. So about 25 years teaching experience. And you were showing us this big book album of awards and certifications. I mean, what are you most proud of as far as awards or achievements, John? Well, the things I'm most proud of is new technologies that I brought into the fire service against great adversity, which is external cardiac pacing. That was an immense project and involved multiple organizations that I worked with, and kind of provided a leadership role and coordination, and we were actually able to impact the state leadership to allow that to be added into expanded scope of practice. So anybody in the state of California that's using the external pacing on cardiac patients is a result of my work, and not just my work. Others worked on the project as well. I forget what the doctor's name was in San Francisco, was also doing work on the trial study, but our work was instrumental in getting him to add that skill to expand the scope of practice. Sonoma County to build a quality improvement program, an integrated program within the county, and I'm very, very proud of that work. And finally, probably the third thing is getting advanced life support services added to our frontline engines in our truck in the city of Petaluma. So we had the equipment. When there was a paramedic assigned to the engine, they actually had the equipment to be able to work and provide that level of care. Gotcha. And so going back to the night of the fire, so we're talking the afternoon, Sunday afternoon, the 8th, I believe, and I'm here in Santa Rosa, and I didn't notice any change until about 10:30 at night. I mean, I wonder, you live nearby here, and until your daughter called, were you aware the weather was changing? It's my sister. Your sister, I'm sorry. Were you aware anything was going on? There was nothing going on in Lakeport. The winds were absolutely still, and there was nothing going on. No evidence of any aberrant weather, any fronts coming in, anything like that. So when did you start to notice? When did you first occur something was going on? When I first found out about it was the following morning. And phone call or? I connected with my sister. She told me what had happened. I became aware of the fires, and started kind of doing reconnaissance on them. Because we had in Lakeport, if you look at a large map, we had basically fire on 3 sides of us. So kind of a triangular shaped pattern. There was a big fire all the way on the other end of the lake. The one in Redwood Valley that burned into Santa Rosa. Did you call Matt in the morning? And no.
So you were just trying to figure out what the heck's going on.
Just trying to figure out what the heck's going on.
And when you talked to your sister down in Napa and got a heads up that there was some big winds and you weren't feeling it, and then all of a sudden 3 fires are going on all around you, you turn on the news that Napa and Santa Rosa are also ablaze. I mean, I think you're up in the pocket fire, they called it up there. Is that what they're calling it?
See, which fire was it? It was,
the Redwood Valley one, I think they're calling the pocket fire.
That's the pocket fire. And then the one on the other side of the lake I was watching really closely because it was burning into a cul-de-sac formed by the lake itself. That was the prevailing winds were pushing in that direction, so it could only burn to the water. But what I was concerned about is if we got a wind shift and it hooked around and would have burned down Highway 20 toward Lakeport. So I was watching that one really closely.
When you started to see probably on TV the devastation when they started showing these homes and complete dustification, evaporation of all the buildings, what were you thinking as a fireman?
Well, I don't watch TV.
Okay.
I haven't watched TV in 25 years. So I get my information from the internet, and I have my sources that I go to. And the first thing that I noticed, I think, was rapidity of the fire movement, which seemed abnormally fast to me, considering that there was no weather fronts or winds or anything that I was aware of that would have driven the fires that quickly. And also the number of fires was extremely alarming. Where did all these fires come from? Mm-hmm. How did they all start at once? And so I started digging. And when I started digging, I started looking at the research that was available for directed energy weapons, and what I started reading actual government documents that people had put up, various people had put up on the website, and looking at the destruction, which I had never seen in my career, the totality of the destruction on the structures. There was absolutely nothing left of the structures except foundation. Now, I've seen that with other fires, but not where it moves like that. Not where the fire is moving and one side of the street everything's fine, the other side of the street looks like a nuclear war zone. Never seen anything like that.
What other options could there be besides a high torch directed energy weapon that you could consider as a possibility in your experiences of all the firefighting you've done?
There's none that I could think of. There's none.
So this is the only plausible explanation that's being presented?
The only plausible explanation, in my opinion. That's the conclusion that I was brought to, based on my almost 30 years of experience.
And you know that steel melts in thousands of degrees and all this, and to see steel bent like that, but have vegetation and plant life and eucalyptus trees.
The holes that were burned through the hoods of cars all the way through the engine block are a little bit suspicious.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
The aluminum on the ground that had melted to the ground where the guy was walking over it? Okay.
That I've seen before. We had a tanker fire, a gasoline tanker fire on 101, and the gasoline fuel is moved around in aluminum tanks like that, thick aluminum tanks. And that one caught on fire and melted the aluminum like that.
Right.
So I have seen aluminum melt like that in a structure fire or other fire.
Let's talk for a second about how a firestorm creates. And it's my understanding that a fire has to build its fuel and consume its oxygen to intensify over time as heat builds up over time. But we're having this firestorm. These fires happen in a matter of a couple hours and created thousands of degrees temperature without provocation from fuel to build itself. It just happened, it seems like.
Yeah. It seems like.
Right. I mean, that's the only, it just happened over a couple hours, and then it was just about, how the fires were spreading. But the initial destruction was here, there, and everywhere, and everything down to the bone of the homes, literally, where all that's left is the fireplace. But there's no iron tubs, there's no granite counters. I mean, we went through Old Redwood Highway here and went Mark-Rest Road, and it was just amazing how there was nothing left. I mean, nothing.
Yeah.
And the fires, they were out there within a few hours. So what could have caused that?
A normal temperature up high in a fully involved structure fire is around 1100 degrees. Mm-hmm. That's normally what we consider operating fire conditions, about 1100 degrees. The fact is that there's a lot of plastics inside households right now, so plastics liberate a lot more heat than wood would, about twice as much.
Did you hear anything about blue lights being seen? And anybody saying that?
I saw the photographic evidence on the internet.
Did you see, hear of anybody else commenting that they've seen blue lights, like they've been commenting on my site that I saw blue flashes, I saw it, and other people have been saying it as well?
Yeah, just some in passing, but I saw actual photographs that people took from their cell phones, their cameras.
All right, and then how do you feel about learning that the Planning and Zoning Commission is having the exact same footprints nearly as these fires were, and that now they're declaring some of these areas from a previous fire that could be deemed a fire to a severe zone that maybe they shouldn't be rebuilt now? Have you any comment on that?
Well, I guess my comment would be that I'm fully aware of Agenda 21 and that it doesn't surprise me one bit.
And have you talked to other firemen as well about this? Are they on the same page as you? Or are they even questioning this? Or what are they thinking?
Yes, two others. I've talked with directly about it, and we're all in agreement
that something very strange, very unique and new has happened. Right. And have you been to tour the areas? Have you looked around at some of the areas?
Only what I've seen on the internet from overhead.
Gotcha.
And I just drove down 101, so what I could see from the freeway.
So what do you just conjecture? What do you think these firemen who are looking at these fires they've never seen before and talking among themselves? How do you think are they talking about it? What do you think because they've never seen anything like it either. And listening to that Berkeley engine number 6 that came up and their whole journey through it, they were totally astounded where they couldn't even set up a base station to start fighting from because everything was on fire. We have 100,000 square foot Kmart completely torched by 3 a.m. in the morning, where these fires leapt across 8 lanes of road and torched the Kmart on the other side of the road. What kind of fire does that?
A fully sprinklered building.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing is California has one of the highest sprinkler laws in the country.
Unnatural phenomena. Like I said, I've never seen anything like it. And the other thing is that amongst some of the courses that I worked on, I taught a course, co-taught with others. That's where this t-shirt comes from. We flew back to Florida twice and worked with these guys one time for a week and taught a course on firefighter safety and survival. And so I have done a lot of case studies on different fires, both wildland and structural fires where firefighters have been killed. And I am telling you, based on my studies of actual case studies, that I've never seen anything like we just experienced in Northern California.
So who would be responsible in the greatest fire in California history to make a determination of what went down now for the officials? Since we have no official story 3.5 almost weeks out, who should be making that call and letting everybody know what they believe happened?
Well, I think that ultimately depends on how they bump it around within the government organizations and who they put in charge of the lead on it.
And do you have any? I mean, they won't come out and say directed energy weapons. They can't.
Not likely.
And so they're having tornado fire. I've heard bandied about Diablo winds, which I've lived in Northern California all my life. I never heard that term before until they just started throwing it out there. PG&E poles.
Serial arsonist.
Yeah, they have somebody was saying there's some jeans on fire on a road with matches in it. Things like that. But it's amazing that we're not even having the greatest fire in history, even a scenario being brought to the front about how this possibly could have happened. But yet over 100,000 people are lost their homes, and now they're meeting tomorrow with the EPA and FEMA, who've moved into Santa Rosa along with the military police, and they're going to dictate what these people's lives are going to be going.
So, just add it up, folks. 150,000 dead from Hurricane Harvey, 44,000 dead in Hawaii. See where I'm coming from? 100,000 dead in California as we speak. So, that's almost that's almost almost 500,000 people, folks. They're depopulating the country, just like I predicted. Let's keep on. Firefighter, thank you for all the work. Seriously, that is true, what you're saying.
Forward if we don't get to them and start helping them ourselves, right?
Right.
And you were talking about the spiritual journey. You want to talk about how this is a spiritual war? You want to get into that at all?
Not really right now, but I would like to say this, is that my heart goes out to all those people that have been victimized by this fire in one way or another. Those that were lost, those that were injured, those that lost property in their homes. And I don't know what's going to happen, but I think that as we, as human beings and as a community, come together, that we can help one another more than anticipating any help from the government. And that's my 2 cents on it.
And are you willing to go and talk with other firefighters and see if they can help out and other people can be brought up to speed that we need to come together as a community? Because, because my feeling is we just got attacked.
Firefighters, you got to understand the nature of beast with firefighters is that we love helping people.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what firefighters are all about. So, I know many just outstanding people in the service. So, not everybody's aware of what's going on, but that's the way it always goes.
Well, and you're the first responders. That's what we always call you in all the letters and over the freeways. Thank you, first responders. Now, I want to thank you personally, John, for coming here, and also for all the career, all you've done to help others and give. Because one thing I've learned about firemen is they get into business because they want to help. They get into business because they want to, quote, save lives. And they're first responders that put themselves on the line. Here they go after a fire they've never seen before in the middle of the night. This had to be called the Beast Fire. I mean, this is so amazing what just happened here. Until you're actually seeing it and being around it, you can't appreciate the devastation that went on in certain areas, and then just over the hill, completely normal, natural, everybody's back to everyday life. And so we have so many people that are displaced, but with the fireman community, other first responders that want to build, we're out of the ashes going to come something better, but it's going to be a community organizing effort, not dictating from the federal government down to these people who've lost everything, and now they're being told they can't go back to their homes, and we're going to give them some opportunities because we care, and all of us are going to do it because we care, and it's not going to be about us. We're going to join the firemen, we're going to join other community leaders, but this is going to be exciting. And the spiritual part I was bringing that we were talking about earlier is this is about empathy. This is about giving to the greater good of all, and this is what we're supposed to all be about, I feel. And so with your giving and giving your time here to go on record, which is big, thank you, John. And thank you, Captain East Bay, for your input as well. And hopefully this will shed a little light and others will step forward and not be afraid to speak their truth about what they know, because a lot of people have secrets, and we need to all come out now, and we need to come together and really, be the change we wish to see. So thank you, John, for your time. Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. And there is only one truth.
There's the plain truth out. Thank you. Good job.
Only one truth. No, there's two. Me and him. All right, that's a hell of a story, isn't it? Unbelievable. Sorry, we're having to do it again because it was a draw. That don't happen often. What a match. Rivalry part 2, right? All right, we're going to go to this one. Countdown to Destruction. Donald Trump getting ready to just destroy everyone, along with Donald Trump and Obama and all the others. If you not noticed, they're not trying to stop these fires in California. Well, makes you want to say, all right, here we go. I don't know who's watching. It's not showing who's watching now, so I'm being shadow banned again. It's not telling me who is what, but it's okay because I'm here. Either way, it doesn't matter. I told you I was going to be on here a long time tonight, and here we are. Left alone, giving you the frightening real news.
Forum Radio Show, right now live on air with your host, Renata Wendy.
Hey, welcome to the Granada Forum Radio program, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Friday the 13th. We have a very, very special guest with us, Deborah Tavares. Her website is www.stopthecrime.net. That's www.stopthecrime.net.
Yeah, this was Friday the 13th of this month. I want y'all to understand this. The reason I picked this story is what I've been saying, and then this is what this lady is saying, and this is unbelievable. You may not get to hear the whole thing today, but at least you will. I'm going to stop talking and let her talk.
Also, you can check her out on primarywater.org. That's primarywater.org for her websites. But www.stopthecrime.net, #1. There you go. She'll be with us in just a few minutes. We're going to do a couple announcements, and then we'll introduce her and bring her back on. By the way, this is Revolution Radio. We are the #1 commercial-free, listener-supported internet talk radio station in the world. We are at freedomslips.com. That's freedomslips.com, or revolution.radio. That's revolution.radio. Check them out. Okay. By the way, the alternative therapies for the 46th Annual Cancer Control Convention is at September 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, 2018. That's 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 2018 at the Glendale Hilton Hotel in Glendale, California. That's Glendale, California. And let me give you the website is www.cancercontrolsociety.com. That's www.cancercontrolsociety.com. Their phone number is 323-663-7801. That's 323 area code, ladies and gentlemen. 663-7801. That's for all the alternative therapies to the cancer control and to whatever therapies, Layer-Tro, and all kinds of great things to nutrition, non-toxic therapies to cancer. So we hope that you check them out, and good stuff there at the Cancer Control Society. We will be there live, by the way, on probably the, not the 1st, but the day before September 1st, the 31st of August. They'll be there Friday night. By the way, too, we'll also be at the National Health Solution Expo. We will be filming that one. We'll be there live Friday night as well. September 22nd and 23rd at the LAX Marriott. That's 5855 West Century Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 90045. That's 5855 West Century Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 90045 at the LAX Marriott. That's the September 22nd, 23rd for the Natural Health Solution Expo. Phone number for that is 562. That's 562-212-3479. 562 area code 212-3479. If you go to the naturalhealthsolutionsexpo.com, you probably go right on their website at naturalhealthsolutionexpo.com. Check them out. All right. By the way, I want to introduce my wonderful co-host, Mr. Nick Pearson.
Hey, hey.
And my wonderful producer, Richard Kane, who we can't outlive without.
Hi there.
We'd also like to put out a word for Red, who's doing much better, getting much better, and in Ventura. So, Red, if you're listening, thank you for listening and all the stuff you've been doing behind the scenes for all the time we've been on. So I want to thank you, Red, for that one. Right now, we're going to introduce probably Deborah and get her on because she's just full of so many things that we cannot believe, but that's why we have her on at least a couple times a month or whenever she wants to come on to this program. We're very grateful to have Deborah Tavares. Her website again is www.stopthecrime.net. That's www.stopthecrime.net. Deborah, are you there?
Well, Wendy, Nick, yes, I am, and thank you, Friday the 13th, for having me on. I'm just going to let it roll because I have so much that I want to share with everyone. I'm going to be pulling in some words I used to use a few years ago, words that many have dropped out of the vocabulary, but we're going to bring them back tonight to tie in the tentacles of the resilient plans and the climate adaptation plans that all of our cities have adopted. And I'm going to be looking at some specific adaptation plans tonight, reading a few things that's in some of these typical plans so that all of you can type in and look at the plan in your city. But I want to read this to everyone first. And I will tell you who wrote this after I read this. This is a letter to the ruling class. You control our world. You've poisoned the air we breathe, contaminated the water we drink, and copyrighted the foods we eat. We fight in your wars, die for your causes, and sacrifice our freedoms to protect us, to protect you. You've liquidated our savings, destroyed our middle class, and used our tax dollars to bail out your unending greed. We are slaves to your corporations, zombies to your airways, servants to your decadence. You've stolen our elections, assassinated our leaders, and abolished our basic rights as human beings. You own our property, shipped away our jobs, and shredded our unions. You've profited off of disaster. You've destabilized our currencies and raised our cost of living. You've monopolized our freedom, stripped away our education, and have almost extinguished our flame. We are hit and we are bleeding, but we ain't got time to bleed. We will bring the giants to their knees, and you will witness our revolution. This was written in April of 2011 by Jesse Ventura, a letter to the ruling class. So with that,
Jesse the Body Ventura for president. That's all I got to say. I do want to tell you this. Everything that he has been saying and what I've been saying, that's where I get a lot of my information too. Jesse the Body Ventura 2021. Can we hear it? Do we hear him coming? I've been hearing rumblings that he wants to run, and you're not going to believe who he wants as his running mate. And it makes sense. Howard Stern. Because if they kill Jesse the Body Ventura, Howard Stern will be your president. They won't do that because they're not that stupid. So that is a smart thing. Sad we got to see that dude. But I'm telling you right now, that is a smart plan, Jesse. And if you run, man, all I got to say is we're going to need Russia's collusion after that because I don't think they're going to let him win.
I want to kick out what the indigenous Hispanics, Mexicans were doing in Mexico just prior to the recent election. And you can find this, the article is entitled, Indigenous Mexicans Spun Presidential Vote with Blockades and Bulldozers. And here's a quote, an excerpt out of what was going on in Mexico. And this is just in June of 2018, so just last month before the elections. They say this, it's all one big mafia. We're having nothing but pure corruption here in Mexico, and it's proven. Why pretend otherwise? So here's what these people are doing in these towns. Leaders representing tens of thousands of indigenous people have vowed to block the voting in their communities to protest a system that they say has failed them. Mexico is on the verge, and by the way, they did elect the first leftist anti-established president in modern history.
Wow.
But the residents have been destroying campaign signs. They set up blockades to prevent the government from delivering ballots. None of you probably heard this, but now you are. There were many no-go voting zones set up by the indigenous locals who grew avocados and eked out a living on tiny plots. And many, many men, some in cowboy hats, stood vigil near the town's entrances. They laid tree trunks across the road to stop the outsiders from entering. The politicians, they say, haven't done anything besides enrich themselves, and they've left us out, and they've left us behind. We've learned the hard way not to pin our hopes on promises coming from politicians, even the ones that purport they have our best interests in mind. Our roads, schools, and healthcare have been in the gutter for more than 40 years. We're now seeking self-rule. And
40 years of Russia spies from the United States. 40 years. I'm 41, so my grandfather said it's been going on for 40 years. I mean, going on since he passed away. He passed away in 2011. He said it was going on for a long, long time. So everything is coming to a head here on this situation. I still don't know who's on here. I don't know who's liking, who's disliking. I don't even see comments down below. So I'm hoping I'm still online. If I ain't, well, at least I tried.
Turning our backs on mainstream elections. The boycott spread to 6 additional municipalities, affecting dozens of polling stations across 16 towns and involving over 50,000 voters. They go on that the growing complaints of the indigenous Mexicans appear to track a broader restlessness in the country, where widespread political corruption, drug violence, and entrenched poverty have fueled discontent. Angry over widespread illegal logging, also organized by drug gangs, sparked the unrest in many towns. Outraged residents expelled their mayor and their local police force, whom they accused of being complicit. So let's talk about what they say. We can be an inspiration for free and self-determination, and a lesson about the rights of Native peoples. So this, again, is an article out of Mexico that most likely you did not hear about. Now we're going to talk about how this relates to the United States and our lack of understanding who controls everything. Our cities, our local governments, our counties, our health departments, the CDC, the WHO, the U.S. Forestry, all of the agencies are corporations, and they've all sold us out. I'm going to read this because I thought that this was just unbelievable. I exhumed this from prior discussions I've had. Seeing it again, I realize how more than ever this is so important to continue to bring back and for all of you to hear. USA Inc. and Earth Inc. They are corporate predatory government agencies. They've deceived the global populations. And this is a quote from the Supreme Court Justice John Paul Stevens in 2010. And it's a dissenting opinion in Citizens United versus the FEC. The tragedy of corporate structure is the illusion of justice, freedom, and democracy. Quote, corporations have no consciousness, no beliefs, no feelings, no thoughts, and no desires. It's important to understand we are in a reality that is so parasitical that we're getting policies, we're getting demands upon us as people that is going to extinguish humanity and all living organisms on the face of this planet. Now we're going to do a brief countdown of the decline of the health, and not only in the United States, but elsewhere as well. We're going to start with 1990, and we're going to go through a few dates with a few paragraphs, and I think you'll be amazed. Again, this is a countdown in decline of health in America, and you can find this on stopthecrime.net. 1990, the U.S. EPA proposed to classify microwaves and other electromagnetic fields as a Class B1 probable carcinogen, which is squashed by the White House, and EPA is stripped of all of its radiation labs, and key EPA scientists were all disciplined. This was back in 1990. Let's take a look at what happened in 1996. The Telecommunication Act suspended the First Amendment rights, of which we do not have any, to freely discuss health effects from cell towers at city-town tower siting meetings. Buried deep in the landmark bill in Section 704, a Wisconsin senator inserted a little-known clause that prevents local governments from hearing objections or challenges to cell tower placement based on probable health impacts forever. In other words, this buried landmark bill said it prevents anything to be heard about health effects with the sightings of towers forever.
Deborah?
Yes, I'm not finished, but go ahead. What?
I was just going to ask you, do you know which Wisconsin senator it was?
It is in this bill, but let me just keep rolling here, Nick,
okay,
if you wouldn't mind. Okay,
right.
This single law has allowed for the uncontested erection of more than 250,000 cell towers in the U.S., while forever ending the public dialogue and critical scientific debate on the possible health impacts from microwaves. Now, this was in 1996. Let's look at 2002. The Freiberger Appeal. More than 3,000 physicians and health practitioners in Europe signed the Freiberger Appeal, which makes the connection between wireless technologies and the sudden explosion of widespread immune dysfunction, such as headaches, concentration, joint pain, sleep disturbances, heart disease, and neurological disorders. In other words, more than 3,000 physicians in 2002 were talking about these disorders. I want to expand these disorders by having everyone go to the homepage of stopthecrime.net and print the symptoms list, because certainly since 2002 and this appeal with more than 3,000 physicians, we are all experiencing all myriads of immune dysfunction and death because our cells are being jammed with frequencies, and that is exploding. This is all part of what we talk about in the genocide plan, which we have up on stopthecrime.net, and it's also up on Granada Forum. It is called 5G Network, a global network for the calling of mankind. And we're going to talk about that in more context in just a bit. We're going to talk about the suicide application of the global calling of mankind and the statistics and the date that they expect to have massive reductions of populations throughout the world. But let's continue with this countdown. In 2006, 17 studies and surveys suggested that at least 3% of the population is electrically magnetically sensitive. Studies and surveys from Sweden, Austria, California, Germany, Switzerland.
Let's stop for a minute. August 21st, 2017, not just the wormwood went past the, past the United States, and it showed, and covered up the sun and everything. But not just that, but Donald J. Trump signed executive order on 5G towers. This is making sense, folks. This is making sense. And he's not stopping the fires in the West. He's not stopping the killings in the Hawaii situation. And he didn't stop the killings in Texas. So, there you have it, folks. Who's your hero now?
Ireland and England revealed that between 1.5% and 135 of population studied showed electrical sensitivity, which includes, again, headaches, sleep disturbances, tendinitis, fatigue, joint pain, blurry vision, heart palpitations, memory loss, confusion, dizziness, and nausea. Remember, this now is in 2006. Now let's talk about 2009. In 2009, the U.S. announces a phase out of incandescent light bulbs, implicitly suggesting a mandatory switch to compact fluorescent lights, or CFL light bulbs. The CFL bulbs carry up to 50 microwatt pulsed microwave signals, create substantial levels of...
I remember that in 2009. Not just that, Barack Hussein Obama signed the executive order on HD TVs. Let's keep on.
Dirty electricity, which is linked to diabetes, heart disease, cancer, and neurological disorders. Plus, each light bulb carries 5 milligrams of mercury, which is among the most volatile elements known and a confirmed neurotoxin. U.S. government Inc. fails to warn the population that the cleanup procedure for breaking one of these bulbs requires at least 1 hour and a trip to a hazardous waste facility. Don't breathe the fumes. Otherwise, call a doctor. 5 milligrams of mercury pollutes 7,000 gallons of water. Now, we know people are throwing away their CFL light bulbs in the landfill. We are getting mercury poisoning. This was intended as a slow, soft kill by this illegal representative government that is literally controlling the world. Make no mistake, this is not unintentional. This is intentional. They know exactly what they're doing. I'm going to mention dirty electricity right now, since this was just discussed in 2009. I'm going to expand upon that, and I'm certainly going to recommend that everybody take a look at the YouTube we have up. It is called LED Lights, a Stealth Silent Weapon. I believe that's the name. Nick, maybe you can help me look that up and confirm that in a moment. But I would recommend everybody understand the LED light bulbs cause weight gain, vision loss, cataracts, they cause childhood behavior disorders, and they cause death. So this is just in the LED lights. Now let's just talk for a moment about dirty electricity, and I'm going to continue this countdown. Dirty electricity will kill you. Electrical pollution is not something we see, smell, taste, or touch, yet it has become the greatest polluting element in the Earth's environment. And Dr. Sam Milham is a scientist, and he's a whistleblower. And this, he says, is an industry cover-up of toxic facts by the electric utility companies, the cell phone industry, public utility commissions, state health departments, and the FDA. He goes on to tell us, and we know, that the basic electricity on the power lines of electrical power delivered to our homes and other buildings is now increased with an added higher frequency, polluting electrical voltage and currents, delivering that higher frequency power into the wiring and into the devices in our homes, offices, and schools. Dirty electricity does not need a direct wire connection. It connects through the air, traveling into the human body from the wiring that carries the power. Once in the human body, these high frequencies cause cancer and many other diseases. Smart meters, cell towers, cell antennas, cell phone chargers, computers, copiers are only a few of the common sources of dirty electricity. Dirty electricity will damage and is damaging the entire human population. Now, if you go to stopthecrime.net to the solutions page, you will find the recommendation by many to use Stetzers that you can literally plug in to your outlet in your homes, and read more about that. This will help return some of the dirty electricity that is coming in off your house wires. Now, I will add a few things to this that we've learned, of course, through the years and have heard in various scientific reports. Do not sleep on wire box spring mattresses. Do not have iron headboards or footboards. Be very careful. Women do not wear Victoria's Secret's underwire bras. Conducts electricity. If you're going to have teeth implanted, do not use the metal implants. That conducts electricity in your mouth. Be careful with carrying change in your pockets, wearing bobby pins in your hair, and having belt buckles. Many of these are documented in reports, and doctors have been...
I'll tell you what I wear, guys. And I've been wearing it for a long, long time, and I knew what was coming, and I tried to tell my roommate, and I tried to tell Katrinka and everything. Katrinka wore belt buckles all the time. She was always having headaches and backaches and everything else. I got hurt from getting hurt at Mason Corporation, and I got hurt at other places. But this is what I wear, guys. I wear a t-shirt and Under Armour pants. There's no wires or nothing in them, no metal or nothing like that. And the only shoes I wear is it's got pretty much there's no metal in it. Okay, all shoes that I have, I don't have no metal in it. Everything is rubber or cloth. So just giving you heads up. Only thing I wear now, believe it or not, I'm starting to not even wear necklaces or anything like that. And it's helping. It's reducing some of the stuff that I'm doing to make me feel a little bit better, but I'm still not feeling good. And that's because I worked in the metal and the steel industry. And believe it or not, with all these, when you're having your cell phone on at Mason Corporation, they always had a protection order on having your cell phone on or anything like that, because it detects the metal. There's no doubt. This is what she's telling you right now. I didn't believe it at first, but now I'm starting to believe it, and it's giving me more of a headache taking the medicine and everything. And the only thing I'm doing now is drinking sweet tea and trying to, get the feeling better. But guys, if she's right and all these towers and everything's going up, guys, we're just like in that commercial they were talking about the final countdown on the Super Bowl. We're in trouble. We're in complete trouble if we don't. And I know why they're doing this. They're trying to stop us from watching what's coming from the internet. They're shutting down the YouTube. They're shutting down Facebook. They're shutting down everything so you won't see Wormwood coming. It's all about Wormwood, folks. Everything is about Wormwood. Everything. That's why they made the big underground bunkers for the elites. And I think that's where John McCain is, if you want to know the truth. That's why I said what I said on my YouTube channel. Na, 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 na. Hey, 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 goodbye. He didn't really die, guys. I really don't think he's dead. I really don't. I think he's underground, and I think all the other elites in the government's going to go down. And the signs are, if you see the red stuff on the ground or on the water, you've got only 72 hours to get underground. And if you don't, over 1,000 asteroids are going to come in on us. Let's keep on.
Telling us all of these tricks for a long time. We are being hit with weapons for self-destruction. And by knowing what is happening, we can take and and should be making defensive strategies against this. Again, go to stopthecrime.net to the solutions page. We have some solutions. We are updating that on a regular basis. Now we're going on to the countdown. So we talked again about in 2009, the phase out of CFL light bulbs, LED light bulbs. It's important to understand they're telling us that the LED light bulbs are being phased out. There will not be the old-time incandescent light bulbs being supported. This is through our Department of Defense. This is all part of the government agency structure that is murdering all of us. Make no mistake, I can't say it any more plainly than that. So now let's look at 2010, and then I'm going to read you something after I read this. In 2010, PG&E and other utilities began to roll out the smart grid. Those are the smart meters with millions of installations of smart meters.
If you remember them smart grids, smart meters, they're the ones that's reading your water, your gas, and everything else. They don't got nobody walking up to your neighborhood and finding out if you got any. If you notice, they're not there no more. Obama signed that executive order, which he signed over 97,000 executive orders. He signed more executive orders than any president alone, folks. And that's against you blacks, white, Hispanic. So, and gays. He don't like you either, folks. Hate to break the news to you. Your beloved Obama has sold out to the NWO. He was never sold out. He was always there, already there.
And smart transmitters in California, New Mexico, New York, and everywhere else. Thousands report immediate health effects. Now, I'm going to read something. I'm continuing with the countdown, but I'm going to be adding discussions as I go along. And this is critical because I would recommend that each and every one of you, when you get your electric bill, read the inserts. I'm going to read an insert to all of you right now. This is an insert from Southern California Edison, or Edison International. Again, a utility. They're all run by Rothschild. So here's what they're saying in this insert. This is a recent
Rothschild, China. Just like I've been saying. 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 And I'm going to keep on saying it. And I'm going to keep on saying it. And I'm going to keep on saying it until they put a bullet in my head.
Insert in July of 2018. Here's the title. Reality of year-round fire seasons is a new normal facing California state leaders. Southern California Edison continues to be at the table as ongoing measures and new technology help reduce the risk of wildfires. Now, I want to tell you, anytime Rothschild announces they're going to be at the table to help us reduce the weapons that they're deploying on us, we're in bigger trouble than we thought. So I'm going to continue to read this. This is in the insert. A summer hike or walk in the Angeles National Forest just 10 years ago would have been among a dense canopy of dark green trees. Today, that same walk would likely include brown, dead, or dying trees, or swaths of emptiness because of the increasing number of wildfires due to factors that include climate change. I'm going to add this. This is Rothschild's cover for climate change, weather weapons in all forms. We're going to go over that in a bit, but I'm going to continue to read. California's wildfire season is now year-round, and many, including Governor Jerry Brown, are calling it a new normal. I'm going to add, this is an attack, a weaponized attack.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? I think I predicted that New Year's Eve. I didn't really predict it. I got it from the man, Edward Snowden, that we were being attacked. He got out of the United States because he knew he needed to be in Russia because of what's going on. Guys, this is what's going on with this situation. And you can either take it to the bank, because I'm going to bet you $1 million that this happens. When Rothschild comes in and he takes over more than he has been, we're in trouble, folks. I think the whole United States will be on fire. And that's what I think is about to happen with these drones. Okay. Oh, another thing, I just found this out. She just said the 5G towers, along with the pills that they're putting in the system, with the chemtrails, they're putting chemtrails in the pills, they're putting chemtrails in your food, they're putting chemtrails in your drinks, and everything else. This is what I found out. And I know why I'm dying now. Okay. I had my cell phone in my hand 24/7 at my job at Mason Corporation. My chest hurts almost every day because of it. If you have asbestos, folks, and you're bleeding or coughing, don't be surprised that you're going to have the same symptoms she just said about your health. Because if you got that phone in your hand 24/7, I'm going to be honest with you guys, we're killing ourselves. And the sad part is, I got to do it because we got to get the word out. I'm running out of time. I'm going to try to get through this tournaments, and then I'm going to slow down on the news. There is so much videos out there that I've got out there y'all need to learn and study and view. Okay? After I get done with these tournaments, I may not come back until after the WWE. I'm going to play a little bit of, I'm going to bring a little bit of Grand Theft Auto in there. I'm going to start taking out the bad guys. And this is another thing I'm going to do. I'm going to do some Dead by Daylight and some Friday the 13th, but it's not going to be all the time. Okay, folks? And I'll tell you why. My health is not getting better, and it's not getting good, and I'm not getting paid for this. Y'all are not sharing. Y'all are not caring. You're not doing anything but trying to kick me off and everything. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to slow down because I'm not getting any shares. I'm not going to get any likes. And I'm even going to cut down on Facebook. And to be honest with you, I used to not even be on Facebook. I used to not be on YouTube. I used to be not on nothing. And I'm going to start focusing on, and what I have called out has come true. Until I start getting more love and more subscribers and more likes and everything, I'm just going to sit here and just take my time and be patient, because I'm not even seeing who's on here right now. Nobody's commenting down below and telling me thank you or anything. So what I look at, Lindsay, I really appreciate you. Miss Trebet, right, from Utah. I really appreciate all of y'all, but I'm not getting enough shares, enough likes. Nobody's sharing on their Facebook. Nobody's doing anything. And you don't have to write down what I'm doing. Just tell them to check it out. Check out what I'm doing. You don't have to. But it sounds like to me, y'all gave up. Y'all don't care about America no more. Y'all don't give a shit about yourself or your kids. I see a lot of y'all have y'all's kids still in school. So I'm about to go back to doing what I was doing my game designs, playing Xbox, playing my NASCAR. I'm going to show some dirt racing and stuff like that, but I'm not gonna be doing this often no more, because why? I'm not getting the love. I'm not getting the shares. I'm not getting subscribed. I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not. The only reason I did it is because I cared about y'all and y'all's freedom. Y'all are surrounded. Y'all are surrounded if y'all don't work together and y'all keep on fighting against each other. Y'all are surrounded. And I'm going to be honest with you. I told you so. So, let's keep on. I'm going to keep on, but I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm looking on my tablet, and it's not telling me nothing. Y'all are unsubscribing. And the ones that's unsubscribing are either getting deleted, blocked, and the drones are kicking them in the head. So keep on doing what you want to do. All right, I already know who you are. Jim Toon, Dustin McGee, Burns, and Matt Genovese is the final four left that is about to get hit by the military and the Marines militia. And that's all I got to say.
Attack by those that control the governments, the monetary system, the voting is rigged, we are controlled. Now I'm going to continue to read. It's a statewide issue that will require statewide solutions and the development of a new regulatory and legislative framework, and utilities, including Southern California Edison, are at the table as part of that ongoing solution. I say beware. We're in big trouble. I'm continuing. Fire season is all year round and is now our new normal, said the Edison International president and CEO of Southern California Edison. And it's part of the discussions working on solutions that will allow California to change the way we think about, plan, and respond to wildfires and climate change. We must be nimble and acknowledge that the current structure, listen to this, we must be nimble. Now this is resilience. You've heard me talk about resilience. Now listen. We must be nimble and acknowledge that the current structure is unsustainable and a new approach is needed to mitigate risk, protect citizens, customers, and businesses, and to align public policy to current and future realities. Last year, California experienced a number of devastating wildfires, including many in Southern California. About a quarter of Southern California Edison's 50,000 square mile service territory in central, coastal, and Southern California is considered to be in areas of high risk for fires. Southern California Edison continues to take steps to help reduce the risk of wildfires, including an aggressive vegetation management program and robust construction standards. We also partner with local agencies in their efforts to evaluate various technologies to help with fire safety throughout Southern California. Some of these technologies include drones to help monitor high fire risk areas, weather stations, and real-time cameras all the time to monitor areas with higher risk for wildfires. Now this is an insert. Be warned. This is Rothschild telling you this. I'm going to read you another insert. Now this came out of a garbage bill. Again, read the inserts. They have to tell you, the controllers tell you in advance what they're going to do. The reason that they're telling us what I'm going to read you right now is costs are going to skyrocket in energy costs everywhere, globally. And in January of 2019, the cost for energy through the PG&E billing system, which is right now between 8 and 9 cents a kilowatt, in 2019 from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., costs are going to go up over 55 cents a kilowatt. It's going to become a major cost for living in your home. Now here's an insert in your rubbish, at least in our rubbish. China tightens recycling import rules. Did you know that 60% of the recyclable materials collected in the U.S. go to China to be recycled into new products?
Yes, I knew that.
Historically, China accepted up to 5% non-renewable contaminants, garbage or food waste, in bales of recyclable materials. And as of March of 2018, the Chinese government is now enforcing a policy called National Sword. That's SWORD, National Sword, which severely restricts the import of recyclable plastics and paper that China will accept. Bales, and China will only accept bales containing less than 1% contamination and will return any shipments that fail to meet the standard. This is a big change and has had a crippling effect on recycle markets around the globe. We need your help. So this has been in a rubbish bill. This is in the process of letting you know that your bills are going to skyrocket on every single level. Now, I want to say this. We can't trust anything we read in the news, not anything. So what we have been attempting to do, because we have contacts in other parts of the world, is to get boots on the ground, real reporting about what is really going on. I'm going to give you an example of some fake news and why we are bringing on to Granada Forum, probably at least every 4 to 6 weeks, contacts that we have out of Ireland, Wales, and the UK that will bring us documents and what is really being experienced there in the context of this global takedown. I'm going to insert this right now. Okay. Again, everything is a lie. They lie every day. In fact, you can turn on your weather, your radio, your news. You can look in your newspapers, magazines. They lie multiple times every day, every hour about the very weather that they're purporting. The weather is completely controlled, and they lie. So let's start.
And what did I tell you about Hurricane Lane? They lied about them. It's going to turn before it gets to Hawaii. And what did I tell y'all Sunday, a week ago? What did I tell you a week ago, folks? Sal, you know who I'm. You know what I said. But you even said it. I was right. I said it was going to hit the middle of the island, and that the right side was going to hit harder than the left side. But this is what happened. And I've got a story on that very, very soon. They put magnetic fields on the hurricane, and just like I said, chemtrails are inside the hurricane, and they're using the lightning and they said it was a lightning storm during that hurricane, but they changed that direction on that hurricane because they wanted you to show that the news was going to lie to you, and that they want you to go to the internet. They're pulling everything to the internet, if you've not noticed. Everything. I'm talking about, it's like a freaking pulling a bull, putting the bull horns and pulling them toward the freaking gates. And that's what's happening, folks. That's what's happening. I told you Charter was going down. Charter Cable was going down. Lighthouse is going down. All these other places are going down. Okay? I don't know who's your cable company or whatever, but you're not going to be hearing it as cable anymore. It's going to be called Spectrum or something like that. I'm telling you guys. I'm telling you right now. They're moving everything on the internet because they want that 5G in your head. Headache. They're going to control you when they put the chip in. When they put the chip in, they're going to control you with the 5G towers. You're going to do whatever they tell you. And what did I tell you was going to happen? Like they did Chester Bennington. Chester Bennington was controlled by the MK Ultra chip. And what did he do? He killed himself, right? Is that what y'all think? Okay. He's going to choke himself on the freaking bedroom door. Every person did that, right? Right? Hey, man. Y'all just keep on believing that fake news, okay, guys? Chester Bennington didn't die. He didn't kill himself. In fact, I've already put this out on YouTube. In fact, he was about to tell everybody the plan what they're going to do to the kids during the devastation, hurricanes, earthquakes, volcanoes, and tornadoes, and all the other. Chester Bennington was about to come out on his father, John Podesta. Let's keep on.
With that, the weather is massively a deception. Rothschild and Company controls the weather, has the greatest shares in Weather Central, and has pulled permits in California for cloud seeding, and so much more. So here's an insider comment about the fake news. They say that it's 6 major mass media corporations who are all CIA proprietaries for the banks through Vanguard in Switzerland. It functions as a media. It's a new cartel. So I want you to think of the media as a new cartel. Now here's an example of fake news. We are hearing, and much of this is also very true, but it's seeded with lies. And what am I referring to? Much of the collapse that we're hearing about in Venezuela, where we know the economy is collapsing, the people are fleeing by hundreds of thousands out of the country, causing tremendous refugee impact in Colombia and neighboring countries outside of Venezuela. But let's talk about what's really happening inside Venezuela's markets. This is propaganda versus reality. And I'm going to say that Abby Martin talks to the Venezuelans on the streets of Caracas and investigates the main claim that there's no free press. Did you hear me? Even the people in Caracas know there is no real press. So when is everyone in the United States and elsewhere going to come to that very conclusion? I continue. They know there's no free press because they see it by what's being reported out of their country that is in absolute disrepair. So what is being reported that is not true? They're reporting that there is no food in the supermarkets. It isn't true. I want you to understand what's happened. Abby Martin goes through using hidden cameras, and she takes you through local grocery stores and the underground black market currency exchange, which is the main source of inflation in Venezuela. I want you to hear that. A black market currency exchange. This is Rothschild, Rockefeller, the economic hitman teams hitting Venezuela and other countries, including the United States. Let me continue with Venezuela. Abby Martin sat down with an economist in Venezuela, and she found out that more about the nature of the black market and the chronic shortages of food, knowing that world leaders are calling for foreign intervention. And she finds out if the local Venezuelans agree for foreign intervention. The local Venezuelans do not want us there. They don't want us there. What are we doing in Ecuador? Let's take a look. I have some insiders in Ecuador. We traveled to Ecuador in 2017. Let me tell you what the corporations coming out of the United States and elsewhere are doing. They're giving Roundup for free to the farmers in Ecuador. They're doing this in Ecuador to kill off the population.
Wow.
The Ecuadorian people once had
I didn't know that.
longevity. They once had areas without chemtrailing, without microwave weapons of cell towers that are now on the hilltops of that country with wireless and smart meters everywhere. Their water supply is being fluoridated in remote areas and villages in Ecuador.
Wow.
The global population is being assaulted, absolutely being assaulted.
Wow.
So I've talked to you about fake news. We're going to cover that on very, very frequently. I talked to you about the importance of reading the inserts in your bills. Read the inserts in your bills. Now we're going to continue with the countdown. In 2010, Light Squared launches a satellite that will deliver 4G wireless signals to 92% of the United States.
Wow.
I'm going to read that again. In 2010, Light Squared launched a satellite that delivered 4G wireless signals to 92% of the United States during the initial calibration period of the laser-like antenna. Creatures with high magnetite for navigation that are highly sensitive to electromagnetic fields such as fish, birds, and crabs unexplainably died by the thousands. Fish and crabs washed up on the shores in Florida, England, Maryland. Birds fell from the sky in Italy, Arkansas, New Zealand, and many other locations everywhere. Among the 20 species with the highest concentration of magnetite are humans. Humans. Let's talk about what happened in 2011.
Uh-oh.
In 2011, the president announces 98% wireless coverage in the U.S. in the coming years.
Yep, I remember
At
that.
least 9 million unknowing electromagnetically sensitive Americans will be immediately affected. This is a plan of genocide. Make no...
You know what's so weird about that? They went to wireless on Xbox and PlayStation and everything around that time when he signed the executive order. Do you realize I'm still on wire? See how smart I got? See, I'm probably one of the smartest dudes y'all meet. But I'm going to tell you right now, the next Xbox you get, you're going to have that chip. Just keep on. This is the last match. Both of my creations made it. Vampiro and James Storm. I think that's the best creations I've ever done on both of them. And I've done James Storm and his name for a couple of years now. Vampiro, so enjoy. Oh, shoot. This lady's good. I thought I was the only one out there. Holy crap, she's good.
Mistake. I'm going to read a couple of other things of vital importance. So we've covered the countdown in the decline of health in the United States and in America. Again, this countdown, you can find it on stopthecrime.net. Read it for yourself. Investigate some of these things for yourself. But understand that was then. We're now. And the countdown is rapidly counting down. We have a 25% plan, I should say, an 83% reduction planned murder rates in the United States alone, 50% in Australia, and 73%, I believe, it is in the UK. Again, to get to this plan, type in 5G network, a global network for the calling of mankind. You will hear the interview that I had with Dr. Bill Deagle about the Intel site, deagle.com.
So this is what I'm finding out. CERN Switzerland is not only the only people that's pulling this. So CERN Switzerland is part of the plan, but all these towers that's been coming up since the 90s has been pulling asteroids and meteors toward us. So what we're trying to find, so what we're figuring out is, and with the sun flares, holy crap, the magnetic field from all this is pulling everything around. So, and now we're hearing North Korea about to start up their engines again with their missiles, as we have an asteroid on their way, the 29th. Could it be the asteroid that's supposed to take down the West Coast? Could it be that one of these asteroids that we've been calling out could be the real deal? And could it be, I feel like Adam West from Batman talking to Robin, could it be the countdown is an asteroid and not a submarine? I'm getting a couple crazy stories here, and I got something coming into my head. I hear voices in my head. They're talking to me. I believe God's trying to tell me something. That the reason he stopped one of the sides, I don't know who did that, the Real News. There's another guy named Real News that's mocking me. But that stripe that he put on his avatar is not the only stripe that's going to have. That West Coast is first, folks. And then 6 to 7 more years, we, the people, gets hit on the East Coast. As they're taking the Bible out on the West Coast, they're going to take out the Bible on the East Coast by 2021. Am I right? Anybody? I can't even see who's out there. I still can't comment down below, I guess. I don't know. I can't see anything. I'm going to try to read everything on this and look at the video again and see how much they edit on this, because I have a feeling they're really snowballing me tonight because they know I know, and no one's half the battle G.I. Joe, and yeah, that's all I got to say. Let's keep on. I don't even know who's out
Similar
there.
to the spelling of Dr. Bill Deagle's name, but the E and the L are transposed. So I'm going to talk about suicide, because right now I'm touching upon the genocide plan that I've just mentioned. 2 of the methods that they anticipate mass genocide occurring is suicide. Now, suicide is enhanced by electromagnetic frequencies in the environment. When you look at the symptoms list on StopTheCrime.net, suicide, among many aspects of debilitating life systems, is in and on that symptoms list. People are going to suffer. People are not going to feel well. And now what do we see? I want all of you to pay attention. In the news, in the newspapers, you're going to hear about the idea that suicide should become an acceptable course of action. Okay? Suicide should not be considered an S word. Now, why am I talking about this? Well, I've been noticing suicide rates being discussed in the media lately, that the CDC has even talked about increased suicide levels among farmers in particular, and other groups as well. You can look this up for yourself. But just a few days ago, there was a screening of a movie here in Northern California. It was diabolical. And it was the screening of the movie called The S Word, S for suicide, the S word. Let's talk about what this movie revealed when we saw it. First of all, the idea that that suicide should be an acceptable form in society. In other words, it should be now a norm. They're teaching the acceptability of suicide so that none of us notice that people...
That's not making sense, because Dustin called the law on me, saying that I was killing myself, told the police, and the police come and saved me, which I didn't even have a gun or nothing like that. And I looked at that cop, I was like, are y'all stupid? Do you really answer the phone to clowns? And he said, he said, undoubtedly we do, because he said that you were going to kill yourself. And I was thinking, so you're here to check on me? That is so nice. Thank you. Thank you, officer. It's putting a gun in my head. Thanks. Appreciate that. You put a AR-15 in my head. Thanks. Really appreciate that. And then he comes at me and says, well, I wasn't trying to kill you. I thought you might have a gun, and you know, does it look like I have a gun? I mean, I'm here taking care of family members and doing my YouTube and doing my news, my real news, because y'all are all asleep watching the fake news. And I told him, I said, I'm Speaker of the Marines Militia, and I work with the WikiLeaks and Anonymous and Russia and, you know, Edward Snowden. And he said, really? I said, yeah. He said, you need to stop doing that. And I said, no, I don't. For what? I said, I thought it was freedom of speech. He said, you're right. You're right. But you need to stop. And I said, no, I'm not going to stop. And he said, you're going to stop or you're going to jail. I said, really? I'm going to jail for telling the truth of what's going on? I said, let me tell you something. One, do you know who Dale Harold is? And he said, yeah. I said, that's my uncle. That's when he said, oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Black dude and the white dude looked at each other and said, we need to get out of here. He's not playing. And then I said, I'm the Marines Militia Speaker. Do you really want to play anymore? My aunt fell out of her floor, fell out of the, on the ground when the cops turned around and went the other way. I should have said right in front of them, welcome to Brazil, like Vin Diesel. That's all I got to say, guys. That's all I got to say. I am safe. They know I've got more power than them. They know I've got more power than the Rothschilds. And I don't even got money. You know what I got? Heart. Heart. If you have heart, the NWO will back off on your ass. But if you don't have heart, they're going to kill you. Just like in the movie It. What did It do? Huh? Them kids separated. And It took out one by one kid. But if you're together as a team, guess what? You get the A team, right? Just think about it, guys. Just think about it. Dustin, after that, a day before, he put a video out and said,